Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the regular Community Development Corporation meeting held on July 22nd, 2025.
Motion by Kevin Cox. Do I have a second?
I second.
Rhonda, second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's approved. Agenda item number 4, consider the appointment of a chair and vice chair. So we've got a new group of people, and we get to go through the process of selecting a new chair and vice chair to the corporation. Do we have any recommendations?
Who are our current chair and vice chair?
And Brian is chair.
Robert.
Who was vice chair?
Robert.
Oh, Robert was vice chair. Okay.
Robert will be dropping off next year because of his term. No, he's not, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to apply for vice chair. If no one else wants to, I'd like to.
Any,
I would be okay with Brian staying chair and Rhonda being vice chair. If anybody else.
Mike, you have anything to say? You want to volunteer, Mike?
Sure, I'll volunteer.
Or
For,
what do you want to do? Or are you just seconding Kevin? Is
I was
that-
seconding Kevin's.
I thought that's what it was. Comments?
No comments.
Are y'all okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, and let's take a vote then. All in favor of selecting Brian Fiorenza as chair and Rhonda Hurst as vice chair to the Community Development Corporation? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Okay, motion passed. All right, moving along, agenda item number 5. Receive information on the Highland Village Road reconstruction project. Phil?
Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Really well, thank you.
All right, awesome. So the board had asked me to give a update on the Highland Village Road reconstruction, specifically those elements that are related to trails. I'm sorry, let me get to the agenda briefing here. And this is a public works project. And what they can tell me is that they have preliminary kind of alignment, and you can see the red areas right there are fill-in parts for the trail. And I'm going to do a closer zoom in on this. And this is a proposed golf cart path, which would be basically a 8 to 10 foot wide path.
And this is a public works project?
Yes.
That will, are they developing the cart path to trail specifications, or what? How does that work?
Yes, well, the cart path is going to help them get to the trail and also to Highland Village Road.
Yeah, but it's not going to be limited primarily to golf carts.
No.
It's going to be a walkable as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this is the section next to Village Estates. Is there any questions about that?
Village Estates, where's that? Whittier, that's, that on the left side is Highland Shores,
Right.
and on the other side, that's that proper, okay, I'm with you.
That provides connectivity to the trail.
From,
Oops. let me
that's
back
all right,
up.
from that southern section of Highland Shores that's kind of isolated.
Where John can't use his golf cart.
Right. And
Yes.
with this, he can.
And
Boy,
you've-
he really pushed that one through, didn't he?
Well, yeah, it's Whittier and Gale.
Yeah.
So the intersection is Whittier
And Highland Shores,
and
Highland
Gale.
Village Road.
Well, yeah,
And
but
the-
it's
yeah, on the
Whittier's
other side
across
is
the
Gale.
street from Gale,
Right,
and then Willow Creek's the next
right,
street.
okay.
Hey, Phil, I have a quick question. What differentiates a golf cart path versus a pedestrian?
The width.
The width?
Yep.
Be an
That's it.
8-foot width, right?
Yep.
Okay.
There's a minimum requirement for a width.
There is I think a storm drain right there. How are they going to navigate that with the width, or where is it going to come out to?
I can answer that one because I asked that question. Do you want the answer or do you have it?
No, go ahead.
They're going to put in storm sewer, and they're going to put a culvert under it, and they're going to put the path over the culvert. I asked that exact question because drainage is my game.
I think that area out of any other spot is much needed,
Yeah.
especially for that neighborhood leading to that trail and coming in and out of that neighborhood too. Okay.
And this is the section south, headed towards the railroad tracks, where there's a section of golf cart path that will be added.
Why are they limiting the length of this one?
You know, I couldn't tell you.
Well,
Because there's a sidewalk already. I don't know.
well, it doesn't go all the way to Nowland, so it's kind of a moot point.
I think it's coming out of the street right here.
I can't.
Which one?
Go back to your picture.
That's Village Estates.
That's Village Estate. Yeah, what I'm saying is, it's a golf cart path, but where can they go? Nowhere.
I think it gives them access to the street.
They can't go on Highland Village Road. So it's a waste of path.
The length of, the intention is if you're coming off of Village Estates, to be able to drive across into that additional neighborhood. I don't believe the red is long enough.
Yeah.
That would be the only intention.
So-
right?
And that's just a representation.
Can you verify though? Because that's a waste
Sure.
of concrete. If you can't go anywhere,
Well,
Sure.
This is a public works project, so we would see that on council.
right, we would. But I'm just, if
Yeah.
you could
Okay.
still find that out, I'm just saying that it's a bridge to nowhere.
Right, and I don't think that's what
Yeah.
this is representing.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a connection that is being made across the street.
Yeah,
Would
most
that-
likely.
Will that existing sidewalk be demoed out and then the new one made?
It's a public works project. Yeah, they're just in the preliminary alignment phase right now. And I believe this recommendation was based off of council input, from what I remember.
Yeah, we just need to find ways so people can cross Highland Village Road.
And I think that's what this is.
Yeah, from Nowland, because Nowland doesn't connect, that's the thing, Nowland doesn't connect to Whittier. And,
There's a gate.
right, and there's the curve, that dangerous curve where everybody used to hit the tree, and so that's the safest place to cross.
Hey, Phil, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
if you see the red line on this, I think it depicts it a little bit better. Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
shows it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we get them where they want to go.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. The image that I provided is not accurate, and like I said, this is just an alignment. There's no engineering that's been done yet.
really?
They're in the first phases of it.
It's not like the alignment's going
Hey,
to change
Phil.
much.
Yeah.
Phil, on the first section you showed, isn't that, I think that's it right there. On this one here, aren't we looking at a path down that side of the road anyways for a
Yeah,
connection?
I thought we were going from, you're right, Whittier all the way to the
Yes,
light.
there are sidewalk connections that are
But can
going
the
to,
golf cart go? Because again, Whittier, they're not going anywhere. So are they going to be able to get out of Whittier and make it to Highland Shores Road? Or if not, it's a moot point.
right,
Because they can't go on the trail
You
system.
can't go on the trail system. So
right.
if we're going to put it in, I think we talked about that, but they need to make, I mean, if we're going to give them a golf cart path, they need to, who wants to go a few feet and turn around? I mean, the grandkids would love it, but
And that's going to be a discussion on council.
yeah.
Yeah, and he also said that the missing sidewalk connections from Highland Village Road, from Brazos, in front of the fire, or by the fire, south of the fire station, that those connections will be made when they redo the street.
We just need to keep in mind to get, well, I'm sure John will remind us.
You will.
Yep. I asked Scott if he could come. He was busy. He's going to do a much better job at explaining this than I would.
Or we could lower the speed limit on Highland Village Road to 30 miles an hour, and that takes care of everything.
Everything.
Here's those missing sidewalk pieces that will be added
The missing
just
pieces.
south of the fire department.
Can we, you made a point, can we put an option, I don't know if it's big money or not, to just lower the speed limit on Highland Village Road so everybody can get there?
Actually, that is a conversation I've already had with the mayor, and we're going to bring that up in our November 8th meeting, that Saturday meeting. That's
Okay,
one thing I
fun
want to talk
times.
about. Yep.
Yeah, because then everybody's in the same
Yes.
boat, and it's,
Well, it solves a lot of other problems that we had talked about before,
Yeah.
so, but that's a separate topic. Go
yeah,
ahead.
Sidewalk.
yes.
That is the one from the upper corner, that's the fire department, right?
Yes.
And that's the one that, okay,
Yep.
good.
They're going to make it whole.
Make that connection. Good.
Yep, which is good. Yeah,
Yes.
it's been a minute.
Well, when they develop, they build them, and those houses have been there forever.
That's right.
That's how development works.
Okay. And if there's no more questions,
All right. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate that. All right, let's move on to agenda item number 6, discuss the Community Development Corporation Fall Trail Tour scheduled for November 4th. Make sure you all put it on your
That
calendar,
is,
please.
it is election day, so
Oh, we know.
make sure you vote, but it is election day.
Yep. All right, go ahead, Phil.
okay, so like it says in the agenda briefing, want to schedule the tour. It sounds like November 4th is still good. We need to determine a time. And then are we going to do a bus tour and just drive by, or are we going to do golf carts? If we're going to do golf carts, I definitely need some time. I need to know as soon as possible so I can get those golf carts ordered and get police escort to get us onto the trails and through the trails.
I would like to see golf carts.
Okay.
I think we did the van tour. It was great, but there was just some things we couldn't get to.
Okay.
And
I
we-
like the golf
Go ahead, you
carts.
do too?
Yeah.
We always have the vans as a fallback if weather's bad, but I think we'd be closer to the trails if we get on golf carts. It's going to
Okay.
give us an opportunity to really get up close and personal, I think.
Okay. And is that a done deal? Golf carts are good? Okay. And then what time are we looking at?
Well, it changes on the 1st,
That's right. So
so,
it's going to get
And we
dark
lose
early.
daylight.
yeah, but too early, some of us work, so
Yeah, mornings,
how long do we want to make it?
say morning's a challenge for me.
That would be afternoon, but
Morning's a
I'd say
challenge
the
for you,
earliest would
Mike?
be 3.
What is it, during the day is going to be, mornings are any time of the day for me. I can make work, but I'm going to work around
Three
you guys.
plus, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three
After
o'clock.
I
3
can
or
flex after
after.
3. Yeah.
3 or after?
Yeah.
Got it? Okay, 3 or after, so 3 o'clock.
Okay,
So
well,
now,
let's, before we say 3 or after, we're all saying 3 or after, but if everybody says, I'm knocking off at 3,
Yeah.
so are we talking about meeting at 3:30 or 4 to do a tour? How long is the tour going to take us?
I mean, I think closer to when school lets out, I think it'll be good so we can see the traffic, we can see the kids, the paths that the kids are taking. So I say 3:30 or 4.
So the only other thing I bring to the table here is if, let's see, we're an hour back, right? When's the sunset?
Sun's going
Yeah.
to start setting probably around 6:30.
Okay.
So if we're done, it's going to take,
We
what,
have time.
roughly,
5:34, Google.
okay.
So,
So
It's going to, tour's going to take us, what, about 2 hours?
Yeah, it depends on where you want to go, too.
if we start at 3, it'll be done at 5. That'll be perfect time before the
Yeah.
sun starts going down. So I think 3 o'clock would be fine.
see, I can knock off at 3.
Oh, okay, 3:30.
3:30.
Let's do 3:30. It's going to be easier for everybody then.
3:30 to 5/5:30.
Okay.
That works.
We'll make sure we have golf carts with headlights.
Okay.
I have a buggy with headlights.
With lights.
And then are we gonna, like, since we're talking about all of the 407 and all, can we focus more on the west side this time and all that so we can kind of see, or?
On
Up
what,
to
the
the
tour?
board.
Yeah.
Well, the tour is going to be, yeah, you're
Is
doing
it the,
that
I
now.
know, but are we touring the whole thing? I would, if we're gonna focus on 407, and last time we kind of focused more on the east, we have 2 hours, why don't we start over here on the west? Because we haven't been through those.
Yeah, there was a comment about wanting to see what school like in dismissal. And City Trail definitely gets us over to the west side.
Yeah, well,
For sure.
school gets out at 3? What time? 3,
Yeah.
so they'll be,
3 to 4.
what
Yeah,
time's middle?
between 3 and 4.
Goes at 4:10, something. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll probably wouldn't miss it, or we would
No,
probably
we'll
miss
be
it.
in the middle of it, but,
Or
So we can start at Briar Hill.
well, let's ask,
Oh.
which What did you have planned to
Oh, yeah.
tour? Which pieces?
It was definitely those pieces that are priority and connections, and then that are going to give us an opportunity to see physically what they are while we're on the trail. And I was kind of thinking starting from here, to be honest with you, and then grabbing City Trail and driving, past Unity and looking at those missing trail pieces there that are on Briar Hill Road. Looking also at the challenges from McCullough, and when those students are coming across the railroad tracks, and how that connection is that goes into the entrance into Unity, and we want to move it over, just things like that. And then driving to the other side of, just taking City Trail forward, all the way to 2499. I want to show you the challenges at 2499 with the landscape. That would be really good. And from there, we can head over to Village Park and to the shops and the backside of the shops, and just basically show the connectivity opportunities that the city offers, and then also look at the opportunities for FM 407.
Okay.
That's a
So I
good
think that
plan.
answers.
Is it? Okay,
That's
good.
exactly. We start
Okay.
here, we'll hit the kids right when they're getting out, right? And then we'll be able to, that's a great
Visualize,
plan.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
So I think
you.
it answered your question.
Yeah, that's what, if we're gonna,
Thank you.
You bet.
but please make it 3:30, because
Yes.
I'm gonna have a busy day starting the 3rd, so
Yes, you will.
I will.
Okay, so we're good with that? 3:30 on the 4th, right? I've got it on my calendar.
You
now.
have to vote before, just saying.
Okay, we're done with 6. Do you have any more on that one? With the trail tour?
No, sir.
Piece of
Okay,
crap.
let's move on to 7. Receive a presentation on Doubletree Ranch shade structure and consider recommendation to council.
So I'm going to bring up Brian Norton. He's the Assistant Director of Parks and Trails and Operations and Projects. And he's very familiar with this project. Anything that gets built in the city as far as parks, it goes into his hands. So he's going to provide the information on this particular subject. Come on up, Brian.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, there's the counter here. The chessboard shade, I hope you're all familiar with it. It's just a poor design. It was poorly engineered.
Excuse me, Brian.
Yes, sir.
You, Matt, do you know what we're talking about?
I do.
Okay.
I went out there right before the meeting, actually.
Okay, good.
It's right next to the playground and the splash pad. there at the-
See, you can bring your handy dandy iPad and zoom in to see where it's at, so I don't get lost. There you go.
But the design of that structure, the fabric, it sags too low to the ground. Our staff has also witnessed at times kids climbing on top of this thing and walking on it, which can be a safety hazard. It's been vandalized twice because you can reach it from the ground. So I can stand under it and not even extend my arm all the way and touch the bottom of that fabric. And it's been cut and torn a couple of times. So in 2023, I replaced it at a cost of around $12,000. And it's already been vandalized again, and we've had to remove it just because it was cut and hanging down even lower. What we're wanting to do is find a more durable design, and we have researched several alternative options, and those are at the request of City Council, and we're seeking recommendations from this board tonight to help us choose the most responsible replacement based on the cost, the functionality, the durability, and warranty. And this is a photo of what the shade looks like, the existing structure, and that shade's been removed now because it was torn so badly. The first option is it's a single 4-post structure. This is a photo of one that's actually just been installed in Louisville, and the sails on the top actually match the style of our playground that's adjacent to this shade structure. It has a 20-year structural warranty, 10-year fabric warranty, and it would cover the entire chessboard area with just one structure. The cost of that is $62,000, and that includes the cost of the demo of the old structure and the repair of the turf where the old post would be removed.
And the fabric's good for 10 years?
10-year warranty.
How much does it cost in 10 years? What would it be to replace it?
To replace it, that's a good question. I haven't asked for replacement costs. It wouldn't, of course, cost as much as the entire structure, but I can find out and get that out to
It would be
you.
good to know what, just so we can,
Sure. We also had someone ask me to look into getting 4 20 by 20 cantilever shades. These are photos of the ones at the splash pad, so they would look similar to this. And they also have a 20-year structural warranty, 20-year fabric warranty. They wouldn't cover the entire area. We would have one in each corner, and you'd have 10 feet of open space in between each one, and then also an area open in the middle of that chessboard that wouldn't be covered. The cost for this one is $64,795, and that also is including the demo of the old structure and the turf repair. Another option we have, we can plant some trees. We talked with Fannin Tree Farm about purchasing some bur oaks. This would be 3 trees. If we got 6-inch caliper trees, they would start at 16 to 20 feet tall. There would be a 1-year warranty on the trees if Fannin plants the trees for us. And the pros of this is it would provide a low maintenance natural shade. The con would be it could take several years for the trees to get big enough to provide shade for the whole area. And the cost of that is $17,622. And that also includes costs of demo of the old structure, turf repair, and irrigation for the new trees.
what is your experience with, I've found that your 3 to 4 inch trees go faster and have a better survivability rate than your 6 inches. What is your experience?
That's correct. Usually the smaller trees are easier to replant.
They seem
Moving
to
a
catch
larger
up.
tree, much more stress on the tree, I think. These trees, these kind of trees, they can grow 1 to 2 feet per year. So it's a faster growing tree, the bur oak, and it provides a lot of shade. That's why
Bur
we chose
oak is
that.
more natural here, isn't it? Or is it the post oak?
Yeah,
bur
it's-
oak.
It's a native tree.
Yeah.
And I did get a price on the 3-inch caliper trees.
Yeah, I saw
They would start at 10 to 12 feet tall. Same warranty, same pros and cons for using the trees. The smaller tree, though, would take longer, of course, to
Gotcha.
grow and provide more shade.
Didn't we discuss partnering with local organization to,
Yeah, the Highland Village, Friends of Highland Village Park Foundation, did they chime in on this?
I'm not sure, did we speak with the foundation?
No, we didn't. We had their project identified at Unity Park for the next round, so that's where their money is allocated, is to forest parts of Unity Park. Now, it's not to say that we can wait a year and then ask them if they would consider doing something like this with us in a partnership.
When does their year start? January?
For them, it's when they get donations, when they get money. So it's not necessarily like a fiscal year for us. I mean, they are non-for-profit, and they have to follow whatever financial laws that are associated with that. But I think as they get money in, they're able to allocate their money to a specific project. But we had identified, I want to say 2 years ago, after we did some reforesting at Doubletree, as they would stay at Unity for the next 3 to 4 years, as it needs trees. It needs a lot of trees.
That's fair.
Yeah, and this next round for trees that they're putting out along the trail, on the backside of the baseball field and in between the pickleball, what is their budget total? And we help them too. We partner with them. I want to say the project is close to $10,000, right around $10,000. So The projects are significant. You saw the one on Briar Hill too. But if you're asking us to go speak to them about this, we'll have to pivot with them on that.
No, I think they have a plan.
Yeah.
It was a question
And
we had.
we worked with them, the city worked with them on developing that plan
Yep.
for a couple of years.
This was just, they asked me to get a cost if we
Right.
were to
Yeah.
do this type of option, so, yeah.
So an interesting thing to consider is that, and you can see it in the Louisville example, the higher the shade, you look at that example and you question what is it really shading that's directly underneath it. As the sun moves around, it's going to shade something different and change. The higher the shade, the less it's actually going to shade as the sun begins to, as it's rising or setting. So then I'd ask, what are we really using this for, and does it really need shade over, that directly correlates with the footprint of it? In my experience, going back a few years when I had slightly younger kids going to that park, no one played chess there. We were just looking for shade, period. So then I begin to question the value in actually shading that real footprint and what it brings versus trees or something that's a little looser but still casts a shadow. I'm not totally decided one way or the other, but that's definitely something I think people in general, you look at a shade structure and you think, oh, it's shading what's under it, but it doesn't really always do that. It's
Sometimes the shade's off to the
noon.
side, depending
Yeah.
on where the
And
sun is.
That's what we discussed was it's really used for kids and
Yeah.
toddlers running around.
Yeah.
If it's been raining, they can run on the turf and they don't get all
true.
gross.
yeah.
We
They
see
get wet,
moms
but
there a
not
lot, yeah.
gross.
We see moms sitting there a lot while the kids are playing on the playground too, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's the discussion we had, we need to provide some kind of shade. Now, where it exactly hits, we don't know, but it seems like the moms and the kids, the littles, they're always looking for a place to kind of hang out. So whether it be on the turf or on the grass, I just think shade.
Can you go back to the first option, please? This four-post structure, there's currently 4 posts out there right now that
Yes.
they've tied the tarp to. It did not work. And I think I've asked this question before, but for the benefit of everybody, have we tried to engage with the original contractor that put it in? Is there an opportunity to work with them to construct something that would hold similar to this, that would provide us at a lower cost? If you understand what I'm getting at, use similar to this, but can they retrofit? Thank you.
That's it, retrofit.
Retrofit the existing post to make something like this work, and then
I did actually look into that. That's on a later slide. One thing I will show you though first is this structure, the posts are not all the same height. 2 of them are short and 2 are taller.
Okay.
So it's not an equal size on the post.
Well, if it's further down, I'll let you finish
Yeah.
your presentation.
That was actually next.
Okay.
You're psychic, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I did looked into adding a post in the center that would have some sails that could attach to the existing posts. I was only able to get one vendor to quote that, and even he said I wouldn't recommend that because it just doesn't follow the normal process of the engineering. Usually when you buy one of these structures, the process is it's engineered. And so what he told me is we can put a post in the center, we can attach sails from that post to the existing post, but he said, I can't guarantee that when we put tension on those sails, it won't cause those posts to move. And he said, I won't be able to guarantee that, I wouldn't be able to warranty that because we didn't engineer and design the structure. So that was the discussion I had with that vendor. There were several others I contacted that said they wouldn't even do that, so. Yeah.
Okay.
But the one I did contact, he said it would be a $41,000 installation, but no warranty, yeah.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Native Texan, born in San Marcos, played in swings that were 16-foot tall and way too high and had no fall zone under them.
And we survived.
And we're tough and landed in sticker patches, things like that. But things, have progressed to where we are today. And safety is a huge thing, especially in our industry. We have a certified safety playground inspector, and I used to be one myself as well. But when you look at playground equipment, I know it looks straightforward as, something that maybe from a construction standpoint is easy to build. But the amount of regulations that go with that because of the amount of kids that get caught in strangulations, equipment failure, things like that, that we really look for that APIMA certification and those engineer seals to make sure that we're being diligent when we're bringing forth a project. It's extremely important to us. I managed in a previous job over 140 playgrounds, and several of them had shade structures over them, and it's not something that you want to be concerned about, is what I'm trying to get at. The injuries and the lawsuits that come from them when you cut corners on playground equipment is not, it's not good. Now, this is a shade structure, granted. One of the things, and I would, recommend to the board that we definitely go with something that is engineered. Abandon it or go with the trees. I would recommend not to add another post that is not going to be engineered and have an engineer's a seal on it. And they're just not going to do that. The vendors that are out there that have the APIMA certification and the engineering that they do in-house. The other thing is that shade structures, we didn't have shade, but now things are different. There's heat island effect, things are much hotter. And what we try to do is we try to put shade over playground structures where we can, it makes sense. So when you look at parks like Lions Club has a shade structure over it. You look at Kids Castle, it has elements of shade within the castle itself. And then outside of Kids Castle, we have Lower Selmeyer Park that also has a shade structure. This park did have shade structures, but because of the activity that was happening on the splash pad, we had to close it down. So those shade structures are not open year-round. Okay, so this is now there's plenty of trees out there for shade. There's also a pavilion there for shade. There's also lattice right outside of the barn for shade and picnic tables. So there's other opportunities for shade as well out there. So just some things to consider as you make your decision moving forward.
Does the PowerPoint have an overall view, a bird's eye view of that area?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It just has the different options.
Okay. So from memory, I know just east of it is there's a playground area, right?
Yes.
That's the structure now, right? Or where it was.
The sad one.
Play area. There's trees behind it. So all of the ground beyond that structure, from what I remember, is open. That's where most of the people go and sit for the concerts and movies and things. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much open until you get to the next sidewalk when there's trees back there by the pond, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the only structure that has trees. Okay.
That artificial turf, though, gets hot.
Oh, yeah, I know. And that was kind
It'll
of,
melt your cleats.
that's kind of where I'm headed with this, right? We have an option of another structure if we choose to, trees if we want to, but we've not discussed just removing it and putting grass down and leaving it open because there are trees around it. And as you pointed out, there's other areas for shade. I mean, that is an option for us to consider if we wanted to go down that path and not spend the money on another structure. I agree with Phil's comment that retrofitting without an engineer's stamp is not a smart idea. we don't want to put risk on the city or the children in the community. So I don't think that would even be a consideration for us, but, okay.
There are some pretty large trees next to the playground there. And
Yeah.
What I've observed in looking at these options is those provide shade for that area in the morning, but when the sun, from noon and after, the sun's on the other side.
On the other
That's
side of the
getting at.
playground, right, right.
So
And
the
where
hotter
these
part
would
of
be
the day.
placed, if we chose trees, would, in that afternoon, would shade
We would
that
place them on
playground
the other
area.
side, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just, and you may have already considered this, the other option is to do nothing and just leave it as is, and we leave the canopy off and let it just run its course.
Yeah, I think that's an option too, but I think leaving the post might cause some type of
Yeah, it's,
risk. Someone's going to figure out a way to get on those posts.
yeah.
They're pretty
I
big.
would-
You
either
could,
we-
you could easily stand on top of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's too many idiots in this
That risk
world.
is there
Yeah.
when the cells are on it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean,
Yeah, but if they're taller, because these are little shorty shorts, if it's taller and connected, it would be a little different. I kind of like the idea Matt said, that to kind of have a little, if we either did trees or the 4 play structures, we could kind of move them around a little so there's a little more variety of shade, so you can get a little further out in the open space and still have shade. And those 4 shade structures would be like 4 little pot areas for people to hang out and.
It kind of gives you your own structure if there are 3 or 4 groups out there.
Yeah.
Those, I really like those. The only question I've got relative to the ones that are inside the splash pad area right now, that's obviously secured. When that splash pad's not in use, how low are those? And is this going to become something where kids are jumping up to try to grab the structure underneath them? Could they be high enough that that's not an issue? Because I think naturally they want to be a little lower just by looking at the type of structure they are in the splash pad, but I couldn't tell how high they actually are.
If you raise them, wouldn't you somewhat defeat the purpose
Yep.
of?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It depends
Yes
on,
and no,
yeah.
because if you put them kind of around that area, people are going to chase the shade.
Yeah, it depends on where the sun
If you're
is, really. I mean,
if you're just
Okay.
doing the AstroTurf, then yes, it gets hot. But if people chase the shade, so they'll move around. So if they're not just focused on here, then
Okay.
they've got a little more
So
flexibility.
If we all agree that people chase the shade in this context, that they're going to chase the shade in a tree context as well. So even, this was how many trees? 6?
It was 3 trees.
3. 6-inch caliper trees, right? At a cost of $17,000.
Yes.
So we could even look at the possibility of doing 6 trees scattered about, because they're still going to chase
Yeah.
the shade, put grass down there, and then you've got more opportunities for shade in that area, and they could be strategically built or planted to cover the play area in the late afternoon as well.
I like that idea. What do
I
you
do too.
think?
I would assume that the demo to tear everything out, especially on the trees, was itemized to the point that it probably cost around 75% of that number to tear everything out.
The demo was just to remove the 4 posts and repair the turf, and that was about $4,200.
Okay. So leaving the turf, leaving the mow strips that are there, and then I assume that the posts are sitting on subgrade foundation. And so if we decided to go with a complete tear out, would the intention to be to dig those columns up from underneath the ground, or just leave them, chip them down if we have to, and then go dirt and grass on top? I'd like to see that number too along. I'd like to see
I can
that
get
total
that
number with the
number for you.
6, and then the total demolition of that entire structure.
So
Would be interesting to
Number to
me.
demo the entire structure.
Demo the entire structure,
Put turf in. I mean, grass.
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 Natural grass.
And then the 6 trees.
Yeah. Which probably will come in at or below the 60,000.
It'd
I
be,
would think.
it's probably closer to 30.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Maybe a little less.
We're
yeah.
aiming high.
Yep.
But that kind of brings it back to nature.
Right.
It does.
So we need to make a recommendation to bring it to council with those stipulations then, right? Is that,
I think we would probably wait and get these numbers first, correct?
Bring them
And then
back
it
here first.
To the next meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Mike?
I want to make sure the board is, you know, obviously comfortable
Right.
with what we bring to council.
Right.
That's a really good idea, though. I like that. Because that's much more flexibility.
Well, I think it's long-term, because there's maintenance
Yeah.
costs with those cells and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, and there's maintenance costs with the trees, but
It's different, and it's
Right, but
Mother
it
Nature.
is-
She's pretty good.
And they are native trees to the area. And I like the idea because the character of the park is a park.
Yeah.
And we've already got areas that we have shade structures and buildings and so forth. This back in the back is more of a natural area.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it's, yeah, in my opinion, I think it looks better this way. But, okay, so the recommendation, well, not a recommendation, what we're asking for is more information on the demolition and replacement of grass in that area, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I call it
We'll see that
Will
next
do.
time. All right, good, thank you.
Thank you.
trees and demo.
Oh, the next sheet.
What's the next sheet?
That was the recommendation we were asking for, but that's changed now, so we'll
We just
table
like
this to
throw
the next meeting.
curveballs.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I like that, because that park's really,
Yeah,
lot of people-
It's a big piece of our community.
yeah.
Okay, let's go on to agenda item number 8. Consider a recommendation to the city council for the landscape improvement project relating to 2499 landscaping for the city trail art project.
What's the art project?
This is interesting.
The art project, have you spoken to them about that yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Huh?
That was your agenda briefing?
That's
It's
number 8,
on the agenda.
yeah.
It says City Trail Art Project.
Which number is yours?
Number
8.
8.
No, okay, yeah, that was, I apologize. That last piece was supposed to be deleted. After landscaping, we're not ready for the art project. The
Okay.
park department, or the
You do
park
want to
board.
talk about just the landscaping in that
Yes.
area?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
right.
The landscape project.
okay,
That's two separate projects.
okay.
So the
glad to
area
hear
on
that.
City Trail next to FM 2499 tunnel has developed some serious erosion issues due to that steep slope and its proximity to FM 2499. And there's storm drains that empty onto that slope and run down toward the tunnel. The drainage and erosion, they've made it impossible to maintain the irrigation and landscape that was originally planted there. And it's also causing mud to wash down onto the trail and the tunnel. And that creates excessive maintenance and cleanup for park staff, and also can create a safety hazard for trail users because it gets slippery and covered with mud. It's also unsightly, and we've received complaints about this area from trail users. So we want to do something to make this better, and we've come up with a plan that I want to show you tonight. And it's going to be done in 3 phases. And phase 1 is this fall. The park staff is going to address the more serious erosion areas first, and they're going to install some landscape fabric and riprap stone. I'll show you some pictures of that in a moment if you're not familiar with riprap. And that will be to address the more immediate problem areas that cause the mud to wash into the trail and the tunnel. Over the next 3 years, Parks Division will budget and complete this in 3 phases, the renovation of the rest of the slope, and we will continue to use riprap, Colorado River rock, new irrigation, and some new plant material to improve the aesthetics of the trail and that tunnel area. Parks will use the sloped landscape areas along the George Bush Turnpike as a template for the design of the new tunnel landscape. We saw along the George Bush some of the riprap areas they've used on their landscape, and it looks like it's something that would work well for this area. This is an overhead view. It's kind of hard to see from this photo on the slideshow, but it's
You can see the erosion.
you can see some erosion areas coming down. It's actually on both sides of
Here.
2499 that this is occurring.
There.
And you can see in some areas, you can see where the trail has some dirt and mud that's washed out onto the trail. These are some better photos that show close up some of those worse erosion areas.
Are you going to not put that super awesome irrigation? We're going to switch to something else?
We are still going to have some irrigation, but the stuff that's laying on top of the ground, you won't see
Yeah,
that
is it going to be
anymore.
different type of irrigation?
Yes, it won't, will still be drip irrigation, but it won't be on this slope anymore. It'll just be
Okay.
in strategic areas where we're going to put some new plants where it's level.
Because that fights against erosion protection.
Right.
It
Yes.
doesn't work.
I want to interrupt for just a minute. I know we probably are going to have a lot of questions, so we're going to drag it out when we go down these trails, but let's get through the presentation and hold our questions till later. That way you might be answering a lot of what we've got, so
Okay.
we'll let you go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The first photo, you can see the concrete flume and also the wall next to 2499. There's actually a storm drain right at the top of that hill, and it washes out so hard right there. All the mud, the plants, the rocks, and everything wash out of there. So these are the kind of areas we're going to target first this year and try to stop that from happening first, and then try to beautify the other areas in the next couple of phases. These are some highlighted areas showing where we'll start with some riprap, where you see some areas that get washed out. There's no plants left anymore. It's where a lot of mud washes down the hill. We're going to use rock in strategic areas to stop that from happening. This is another photo showing on the left, you can see the yellow areas that are highlighted. Those are also areas we're going to start with this year where we're having the worst issue, and we're going to start with the rock to try to stop the erosion there first. On the right, that's a picture of the George Bush Turnpike, kind of showing the use of the riprap on the highway areas where they have the slopes next to the highway.
All their landscaping died.
This is another example of riprap on the left. It's used a lot on steep slopes, especially next to ponds and lakes and roadways and trails, and gives you an idea of what some of that could look like. And on the right is the Colorado River rock, which is a little bit more decorative, a little prettier in the areas where you're going to have your landscape. These are the plants we're looking at, placing in some of those areas. Instead of just kind of the dull, boring feather grass we have there now, we want something that blooms, looks a little prettier. We're going to have some flat areas next to the trail where it'll be better to place these and have proper irrigation, and they'll survive better than they would on that steep slope where it washes out. So this is our budgetary impact for phase one. We're looking at $12,000. The riprap and Colorado River rock, $9,000. Erosion control fabric, $500, and then $2,500 for equipment rental. And this is to do that first phase of those highlighted areas, just to address the more serious erosion problems before we get to the next two phases over the next couple of years. What we're asking today is for Community Development Committee Board to approve funding for phase one. And also, we have in here that make a recommendation to City Council, but because this is only $12,000, it's not something that actually is required to go to council. This board can actually make decision to fund this. Over the next 2 years, we're hoping phase two next year, we're estimating around $15,000, and then the third year, another $15,000 to get everything installed, all the riprap, the Colorado rock, the plants, and really make that place pop and look pretty again.
What's the threshold, 50,000?
50,000, yeah.
Would it make sense to do it all, is it to transition all together? Because if you keep start, stop, you'll lose it in between it. Does it make sense to just do it all?
Well, the thought right now is we're doing the erosion control, which is the rock, and it's something we're doing in-house, so we also have to strategically work it in with what our staff can handle with their normal workflow. This would be a major project for them to do it all at once in-house, so we're trying to break it up into 3 phases just to make it more manageable for our team.
And if I could speak about this, we are taking all of the amenity stations and redoing them all. So this is an amenity station that is on the list to get redone. It's a little bit bigger. So instead of doing it in, just a 1 to 2 month period, this one's going to take about 3 years to do it because the estimate that we got was over $1 million to do what we're doing in-house at all of the amenity stations. So we're saving the city quite a bit of money and doing it in-house. But because of labor resources and timing and things like that, we're gonna take our time with it.
I have a quick question. So the erosion, was it a poor design? Were the plants were they able to establish themselves? Did we know?
It's
what
always
caused
been an
it?
issue, at least as long as I've been here, and I'm sure before I was here. I don't think the amount of water that runs across that area was expected at the time it was designed.
So design, it was a okay, that's fine. I just figured maybe the plants, I've seen them work well once they're established, but maybe they weren't established or did they get a chance to establish?
I think it's just all the stuff's getting washed out from underneath them, so.
It took George Bush about 3 tries
Yes.
to get theirs right because
Right.
I've seen them rip it out.
Yeah,
yes.
so glad I pay so many tolls, but it takes about, it looks really good in landscape architect, and then your hydrologist ruins it with all the high velocities, and it takes about 3 tries to get there. So if we can learn off of them, I still think if there's a way to kind of just keep this going along into one long phase would make more sense than to, so they are continually working on it instead of as it fits in, but that's my opinion.
I would say if the
Construction.
funding was approved, we could move it along as we can get to it, yes. for
That's
sure.
what I was
We
thinking. I
could
don't know.
Possibly when there's time, yeah.
So we would have to make the recommendation for council if we were to approve all 3 phases at one time.
No.
No?
No, because it's under 50,000.
Okay, perfect. I like the price tag on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just, we plan out winter, this is our busiest time of the year, believe it or not. We plan out projects after our event season, and we have about 60 days, 65 to 75 days to get winter projects done. And we do a lot of landscaping work, so I don't see this continually going on for a year and being completed, just with the amount of other work that we have to do. So just want to be really honest and upfront with you. We've done 3 amenity stations so far, and this will be our 4th one, and then we're going to get the round bed over here on City Trail as probably the last one. Yeah, so, and the other option is hiring a contractor to come in and do it. And we can get quotes for that and design, but we feel that this is a more economically way to do it. And if we're just a little bit patient about it, we'll come out with a good product. We've gotten compliments on the 3 that we've done so far. They're following similar design, although they're not that big, as big as this, but this one is going to take a minute to complete. And if there's any way we can accelerate it, if we see that there's momentum, we will.
Well, that's what I was thinking. We
Yeah.
go ahead and improve it. I love the budget saving and our guys doing it, because when citizens do it and our employees do it, we invest more in it and we love it more. But if we give you the funding, then you can put it in the hopper as sees fits instead of having to wait each
Okay.
time.
So why don't we do this? If you approve phase 1, what we can do is have it in our maintenance budget next year. When we review budget, we'll have phase 2 and phase 3. How's that sound?
Why can't we just approve all of it now? And then
Because
you
I would
just-
be concerned about price escalation.
I was going to ask that,
Oh,
the 15Ks
yeah.
are both estimates.
Yeah, I would rather get through this, really see how we're doing budget-wise at 12,000, and then what does that look like in the next budget cycle? And we feel pretty confident we'll put, a 10% inflation on it, and, it's just going to be better to present to the board.
We just don't want to slow you down. I guess that's what we're saying.
We're not going to be, you come by the office and we'll show you the project board. Oh, yeah, you're not going to slow this guy down, not at all.
If we go forward with phase 1, with the amount of work, because phase 1 is the most critical part of getting the erosion control in, start with your current schedule, do you think?
We would start probably in the next month or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
It'd
I
be
don't.
more of a winter project, but we would try to start this fall.
Well, it's dry season,
Yeah,
you want to do
and
it.
the riprap price, like I said, and the rock price looks good. That hasn't changed much over the last 2 or 3 years. The fabric, obviously, and then the rental, and then if we're controlling the labor in-house, yeah, I would love to see us just go, 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 go.
And
Yeah,
just-
definitely.
Just to speak a little bit about the project, we, at Lakeside Park, the parking lot that was redone, Public Works did that for us. We did the riprap work where it was eroded away. Also, we did the riprap work under the village fishing pier before we put the pier down. So we have pretty good experience, skilled people that are very, very familiar
Oh, I
with
love
this.
riprap. I spec out riprap all the time, and it looks bold and bright when you put it in, but over time it seasons and it looks very natural. It's much better to other erosion control techniques. It looks pretty.
Okay. I believe that was my last slide on this one.
So
Yeah,
can we
that
just
was-
approve it then? Like, don't you have to make a motion?
We will, yeah. The riprap, it is not encased, is it? Is it just loose?
Grouted?
No,
Encased.
you see some of that rock like that that's in
Gabions?
metal.
Oh, those are gabions.
Oh, no, no,
Gabions.
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's not encased in any kind of wire or anything.
Okay, all right, it's open.
You just got to get the big right-sized boulder so the water doesn't push it down the hill.
Right.
There's a formula for that.
The current situation with the washout on both sides, is that actually going into the tunnel and filling the drains on the side of that path that's running in there?
Yes.
And that's been causing the additional cost to have that cleaned out as well. So this will stop a lot of
Every
this,
time it rains, our guys have to go shovel that out.
right? And water issue and all the other stuff go along with it, okay. The plants that you had listed here as suggestions for plantings, how adapted are they to the environment? Are they heat and cold tolerant, et cetera?
Very much so, yeah. You'll see these plants in a lot of our landscape beds around the city right now, and they do very well. They bloom more in spring and fall and with the flowers and all, but they do handle the environment very well. the summer.
If you'll go back to it, I forgot the name of it. The Red Turks. I know the sage, it looks really interesting when in its natural state without being trimmed back, but I don't know much about Red Turks or the Red Star. How much maintenance are you going to have? Is it a monthly? Is it
It does need to be trimmed, especially this time of year. It grows quite a bit more in the spring and fall, but it's not high maintenance. It's a very good plant, and it's low maintenance for our guys. Yeah.
the Red Turks? Does it have like long vines that grow out and?
It does. It'll kind of grow out and get bigger. You just have to trim it back once in a while. Yeah.
But it's not an ongoing maintenance issue you have to concern with?
No,
No.
right out here in the, this little, right outside the police back door. If you walk out, there's a circle, part of the trail goes through it, and there's benches in there.
Yeah.
Turk's Cap lines that southern side. It's
Oh,
been there
okay.
for years.
Okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
that's, you
Okay.
leave, you'll see it.
We
Yeah.
have a lot of Turks cap on the Brazos medians too. You'll see it there.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. All right, anybody else, any more questions? All right, so they're asking us for a recommendation. Anybody have a recommendation they'd like to present?
I recommend we approve Phase 1 of the project with a total estimated cost of $12,000.
Your recommendation to approve
To
Phase
approve.
1 and send to council for final approval?
This one doesn't go to council because it's less
but
than
the-
50,000.
But the recommendation is to send, you don't have to send any of this to city council.
We
Was
don't,
that
no.
written because of the last,
Yeah.
the art project? Is that the way, why it was written that way? All right,
Really is.
all right.
Sorry,
So
that was a
the recommendation is to approve Phase 1, right?
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
Nope.
Okay. Second?
Second. Go ahead, Mike.
Nope, I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion, recommendation passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. On to number 9, receive information on the scope of Half Associates agreement for the Village Connection Corridor and Amenity Project. Phil?
Yes. Okay. So I have a presentation here, but I'm going to go ahead and read, just for the record, the memorandum. So on February 28, 2023, ordinance 2023-1300 was voted on and passed by the City Council adopting the Highland Village Comprehensive Plan update, Our Village and Our Vision. The Village Connection on page 195 in the comp plan is one of the elements in the plan that identifies the need to explore the feasibility of a trail connection along FM 407, which the board is very familiar with, and identified residents' desires and amenities along the trail. The focus was to expand the existing trail system to increase access to shopping areas and parks for residents and visitors while maintaining user safety and focusing on connectivity. The plan identified disconnected trail and sidewalk systems and the opportunity to connect to neighborhoods to commercial areas such as restaurants, retail centers, regional connections with neighboring cities. So the plan proposes a 5-year and a 10-year and a 20-year corridor recommendation. And the first 5 years of the plan was to identify the need for the city to develop funding strategies for the trail. So HAF was hired to do precisely this and focus on grant positioning and the likelihood for winning grants for the project. So HAF's basic scope was to provide a trail alignment assessment and grant funding strategies for FM 407, also known as Justin Road. The purpose is to analyze potential trail routes and to provide preferred trail alignments and grant funding strategies to help position the city for best chances of grant success. This intent is to provide active transportation connections within the city, connecting residents and trail users to places of business, schools, adjacent communities, and parks. And below, this is, I pulled this right out of the agreement, and it lines out the tasks that we asked them to do in order to fulfill that first 5-year recommendation, which was to identify the needs and develop funding strategies for a trail. And that's what we've been working on. That was the joint meeting that was things leading up to the joint meeting. So there's, I want to make sure that the board is in agreement that we need to continue to head in that direction. And then also I want to clarify one thing that was maybe miscommunicated by me. Is that we had a priority list that we worked on for, 3 or 4 meetings. And that priority list started with 5, which included on-street bike paths, but those were going to be taken care of by Public Works. That's what the board had identified. But the remaining 3 priority lists were, Briar Hill connections, the Unity connection back behind where the basketball court is going to be, and then also a connection on District. And that was really for safe routes to school. All right, and that priority list has been identified, and the board has said, yes, we want to do that. Okay, but the priority list also, what comes with that is points that allow you to gain points and better position yourself in a grant, okay? So it's prudent to wait to see if we get points and show that those projects have been on the books. The board has identified those as projects and supports them. That gets points as well. And it becomes a part of this project because Safe Routes to School, you get points with it, all right? And if we do that, also, if the project gets legs, we're going to get scale of economy, if you will. If we're going to build the trail, I'm not saying we are, on 407, those other filler pieces will be a part of the project. Now, if the trail does not move forward and is not going to get built, those priority pieces are still going to be the priority. The board has made a decision that they want to move forward with them, regardless of what happens to FM 407. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So is there any questions about the tasks that are on here? I know this was sent out ahead of time. Just want to make sure that you're good with the direction that we're heading in this first 5 years and understanding that we need to get funding strategies in alignment and we need to prioritize what that is. And then also I have added our calendar of meetings that we've had so far, and it tells us the remaining meetings that we have left. Now, I'm sure I can work with half.
One. There's only one meeting left. Did I miss something?
No, there's, so if you look over in the right-hand column, starting at the top, there was 5 for city staff coordination. There's 5 that have taken place. There were 6 that are scoped. City staff coordination meeting monthly, there were 4. There we have 6.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I was looking for dates.
Okay.
What I don't see is more, I see stakeholder meetings, but I want to make sure it's very clear during this entire thing that we have our community and it's not just a presentation to council and the board.
Okay.
So I don't know how to paper that, but, and if there's any changes that are going to be or anything that into specific neighborhoods, I want to make sure it is very clear that that is part of the process.
Okay. So moving forward, what does that look like with the remaining meetings and then also half working on a preferred alignment and starting the grant positioning? Now, what the trail looks like on the alignment is still yet to be determined, as well as amenities.
Right. Well, we're down to one public meeting left, so that kind of hoses the neighbors,
Well,
right?
no, do we want to add a meeting?
I think there should be a
Okay.
public meeting every step of the way that is, people can and make sure they have the input. That's what I'm saying, is
Okay.
not just a council meeting. Again, so that it's more interactive, not here's a presentation and this is what you get.
So the interactive portion will be when we look at grant funding in the design phase. If this board says, okay, we like the alignment, we know it's not a design, we like the fact that there may be amenities and there's not a design, and we have the grant positioning, we understand that this project can get legs. So the next phase is, do we go for the grant and then we start designing it with the public, with the
Okay,
community?
that's the point.
That's the what you want.
That's the point. I want to
Okay.
make sure that it's just like when we did the trails originally, the public was in, and we had meetings every 3 months, big tables, and everybody, and that's how we got the trail system
Sure.
we have. It was on the citizens, and I just want to make sure, this is probably the biggest undertaking since then.
Sure.
And so that's just, and this is our economic, this is where all of our sales tax comes. So we need to just focus there and make sure that's where I'm coming from.
I'm with you, but I think establishing, because the comprehensive plan was adopted and it had basically an alignment along 407, so the community is aware of that. But we are not designing this alignment right here.
Okay. No,
All-
if that's how it's happening and it's very clear.
Did you see anything that was inconsistent with what I said in the
No, I
task?
it says
Okay.
grant application pre-positioning, and I just want to make sure that whenever
Okay.
that happens, it says lots of people get to say things that live here.
Yep, and you're going to hold me to that.
Oh, yes, I am.
So I'm not concerned about that.
Okay.
And I'm fine with that, and
I know.
I'm with you. But do you see anything that is inconsistent with that
No.
task list? Okay.
No, can I ask a question, though, about Louisville? How come Louisville's doing nothing on their trail? So they have this trail plan for 407, and when the developers are coming in and filling in, they're waiving all requirements. So how serious are they? I'm saying that we have these coordination, but they don't seem very serious about their part. They're waiving it.
Talking about on 407?
Yeah.
That's the corner of the city. They don't care about that.
I know, but if we're going to be working with, I'm just saying, they've waived it all.
Right, and we,
So that's why if we focus on our western corner, I think that's going to give us our biggest bang for our buck, because ain't no one walking from Garden Ridge to the shops. They're just not.
No, they're not.
And they're not even going to take their micromobility.
so you're taking us to the proposed phase 1.
Yep.
Okay, so are we ready to move on?
Yes.
To that? Okay, good deal.
mean-
So here's the screen on proposed phase 1. This is just kind of a bird's eye view. We're going to get a little closer, but where it is trail alignment Highland Village Road to Village Parkway, which is FM 407. So here it is. This is the phase that seems to make the most sense based off of what Rhonda said and what also we have worked on in the board. We know head in the other direction. There's a lot of challenges with utilities, parking lots, trees, things like that. There's already trail connectivity that is established on portions of this, but I feel I would like to recommend that this board consider that half focus on this section. And if you do, then that starts the next phase of working with half and them starting to look for grant positionings for this specific area, which is a good thing. This would be phase one. Phase two is down the road.
Yeah, that between Highland Forest and Highland Village Road, that's going to be cost.
gonna be
It's going to cost as much as the rest of the trail.
Well,
There,
I'm
go ahead.
confused. I thought we were talking about going down the railroad track and then coming up to avoid that area.
that's an option. This
Oh,
is
that's
just,
right, we did, and that does
Yes.
make sense to do that.
Yes.
Because from Highland Forest to Highland Village Road, you just don't want to go there.
Yeah.
There's floodway, you just don't want to go there. And you'll upset, the creek is very happy right now,
Mm-hmm.
and cutting in there will upset those structures in there.
one of the other, we're trying to look at bringing that trail behind, running it along the railroad tracks and coming to where the basketball court
Come
is.
in behind the park.
Yeah.
Coming behind the park, so that could be
Or
an
the water tower? Is that a water tower?
Yeah, there's a water tower back there. So this is just phase one. We know we want from Highland Village Road to Village Parkway. And then,
Adjust the line if we want to go that way, though?
Sure.
To make, because
yes, remember,
half will do is exactly what you show them.
yep.
so then, what is the feasibility then of us doing this all along 407? Because what you're talking about is reconstruction to an 8-foot trail, to make it a trail in order to get the grant.
To connect.
Currently, we have sidewalk, bits and pieces of sidewalk that are, what, 4 foot wide? So it's a total reconstruction from one end to the other to an 8-foot trail. Is it feasible for us to really put a trail system in here, or are we better off just making connections in the sidewalk pieces to connect that? Then our trail system and our connectivity to our partner cities is internal, where we already have a main trail system. It's just a question on my part. I'm not saying we need to go that route. I'm saying we need to look at the feasibility of that and its possible alternatives.
And as you say that, we will not get grant funding for sidewalks if this, we
That's right.
can, but it's not going to be the money, excuse me, let me back up. We'll get very little money for sidewalks compared to a trail.
That's right.
And we're connecting to an existing 8-foot trail.
Right.
So
Where's the existing 8-foot trail on
it's
Village?
down in front of Walmart.
Oh,
Green, right?
It's green.
the green, okay.
Yep. And then it crosses the street, and you can see it goes over to
Yeah.
the shops. So the other thing is when you provide a trail in front of businesses, there's that impact of, multiple people having the opportunity to, get to the businesses rather than a sidewalk. Can that be discussed with half? Absolutely, but we're, the comp plan specifically looked at, and what council adopted was looking at a trail. So it's a feasibility study, and if it turns out that, this isn't the direction we want to head, we've answered the question.
Let me ask you this question then. On this feasibility study that HAF is completing for us, how much money has been spent on the feasibility study? Is it funded entirely already, been paid?
No.
Okay, so these are going in phases. So I think again, I'm going to go back to that. I think this is an appropriate time for us to really consider the feasibility of this moving forward before we spend any more money on feasibility analysis with them for grant projects on a trail system. I highlight trail because we've got two different things here. We currently have sidewalk that we don't get project funding for in a grant program. If it's a trail, which is an 8-foot wide, that's where the HAF is making recommendations for funding and grant monies. So do we want to spend more money on HAF, or do we want to focus more on just the sidewalk, where we try to fund it through our own sales tax revenues and any possible grants we can get for a sidewalk, and then focus on the internal trail system. I think that's a discussion we need to have before we go much further down this path with half.
I think it'd be interesting to understand the delta between the two. Like, what's the potential with the grant versus without the grant? And it may be better to just move forward with the sidewalk. I think it'd be good to understand.
Part of my perspective comes from, I live and I work in the community, so I'm here all the time. And I'm always in and about Highland Village, so on the road. I've walked that trail from Walmart to Highland Village Road. I walked it in the morning, and I know that was one day out of 365. I didn't see anybody. I've only seen a handful of people in the last year that actually walk along 407, both sides of 407. I mean, this is, for me, I'm not sure that we want to spend this kind of money on a trail on 407. I like the idea of connecting 407, Highland Village from end to end, but do we do it with a sidewalk or do we do it with a trail system? I know the comprehensive plan asked for a trail system. The question I have then for the public is, do you understand the difference between the trail and the sidewalk, right? In their mind, they could have been thinking, we're looking at an 8-foot trail, or are we looking at a 4? I don't know. I don't remember that conversation in 2023, so.
Well, most of the users aren't going to be really residents.
Most likely
It's
not.
everybody else.
Most likely not. But who is everybody else? Like you said, people aren't going to walk from Garden Ridge to the shops. They're going to drive, or they're going to take GoZone.
Yeah. They show that people will walk within a quarter mile, at most half a mile, even when it comes to bicycles, and like, not cyclists, and not Mark Solo level,
Right.
but recreational cycles, and even the micromobility
Quarter to half is about
might
the
give you a
max.
half a mile, but quarter is really the rule of thumb.
That's right. So we're talking a quarter of a mile is going to take you from 407 to about McAuliffe, maybe a little bit further.
Do you want me to see what it's going to cost to run a sidewalk versus, like you said, the delta between the
Yeah,
two?
I think that's important, right? I mean, we may be chasing something that,
We don't really use or need. Well, and if we know, just even with Kevin's expertise in concrete, I mean, he could, with quantities and all, he could back check to see which one's which.
The linear footage of how, even if you did extended Highland Village Road and you checkerboard it all the way through, that's pretty easy math. Yeah, because what are we at? That's almost, we have 2/3, 1/3 done, the other 2/3, and then we're just piecing together after that.
The 8-foot the width of an 8-foot will probably require more right-of-way, drainage. 4-foot, you might be able to snake through most of it. That's what's going to get you.
You lack mainly in front of, you lack it a lot in front of Walgreens and,
From Highland Forest to Highland Village
Yeah.
Road is where, so that makes sense to go behind.
but I've always liked
internal.
the idea, and
But see, that can be used, that can be a trail system
Yes.
from there.
But in regards to the sidewalk there, and I know it's a lot of work because of that grade that sits underneath that parking lot. Getting a sidewalk there, because I see in the mornings, certain kids piled up there as they wait to cross over 407, go up the sidewalk, cross back over on Briar Hill, because they're coming down from the other direction, or for whatever reason, they live on our street, so they're not riding to the trail. If you have 5th graders going to Heritage, they're not going down the trail and then coming back around, they're going up there, crossing, and then crossing again. I've always liked the idea of a sidewalk there, but I understand the difficulties specifically in that section, to where it's something that it's something that because of the way the grade is, the land is, everything is set up, maybe that's something that we connect Highland Village Road to Highland Forest on the backside, and then that sidewalk is just something, maybe we concentrate more on the connection from Highland Village Road to the backside of Highland Shores.
Well, if that's the case, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think we're better off there because from what I see on the Flower Mound side, the south side, there's more space between the roadway and the sidewalk.
And
right,
ours would
than
be
there are
tucked,
there.
yeah, and ours would
Exactly.
be tucked right up against the back of
But
the
if you
curb.
remember, we've also already talked about running a trail from Highland Village Road along the railroad to get to the back of Briar Hill. So if that's the case, why would we not want to just continue that across with the trail to Briar Hill? That way you're connecting both, and then we don't have to worry about Highland Village Road to Highland Forest.
Yep.
You're at the backside, but you're also connecting to your schools,
And it's safer.
and it's safer for
It's
the
safer.
children.
Yeah.
Is there any way to connect Highland Forest Drive? Is there any space in between those houses back there? Because I haven't been back there in a year.
No,
There's
there's
no
not.
space
Now, I know the person.
to connect,
They'd have to go
that
to the-
trail? So they
they'd
would have to
Go
come
to the
out
front of Highland.
Nelson Parkway.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
crossover,
yeah.
yeah, to get to the park. But if you take it all the way to Briar Hill along the railroad, they're already there, they don't have to come back.
Yeah.
Then they can go at Briar Hill back to 407. We've got the trail behind the Bowery that we're going to be looking at connecting to Barnett. And so we're halfway there already.
Yeah.
And I know for the kids who do go to McAuliffe, because I think most of those kids, we don't want them on, I mean, I guess they could come to Barnett off 407, but they have to be per Texas Transportation and School Code, they're supposed to be bused. So the last thing we want to do is dump them on 407.
Right.
Yeah. I did have a question about that in regards to the grant. Because of the situation with Louisville ISD and closing that school, because we have so many kids who are coming from the east side of town, does that establish more grant money, or does that give us the opportunity for more grant money if for whatever reason we went with the 8-foot, we went with the market trail or the trails? Because of the amount of students that we have traveling over a specific distance to get to those schools.
Well,
now.
that conflicts with the Texas Transportation and Education Code because it's supposed to be within the confines of the code. And so if they're already slated to be bused, those kids are taken off the table.
Yeah,
Per
there's-
grants.
I forget what the minimum is for.
It's 2 miles, and it has to
Yeah.
do with, like Heritage, you have to get on 407. So everybody who's scheduled on the east and west side per transportation code, anybody who's bused, they're off the table for safe routes to school. So anybody who's the zone, they're off the table. So all the east kids, even your kids,
So we
are off the
wouldn't,
table.
so that wouldn't be a
No.
way for us to generate more.
Well, that's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
That's exactly the things that they're identifying. Does safe routes to school apply to kids that are on Selmeyer that are coming to Heritage?
I see.
Yeah.
Whether they're eligible, well, they're eligible for the bus.
Per the
Whether they ride
transportation-
it or not doesn't
Right,
matter.
but per the transportation code, because of student safety,
Yeah.
that's why they provide the bus. They do not want them walking, and that's the whole reason why we have the education code. So from my understanding and speaking with people in this field, anybody that's in a bus zone is taken off the table.
Yeah, I can see that.
So anybody that's on our side from Victoria over and all Louisville is off the table. So those don't count.
I disagree, but I see it.
I know, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not saying.
I know.
But
It's nothing we can do anything about.
right, but
That's
it's
what it is.
clearly in the
Yeah.
education code of
Yeah.
what counts and doesn't count when it comes to
Yeah.
TxDOT dollars, which TxDOT helps fund safe routes to
Yeah.
schools, and they're going to follow their code.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Hey, Phil, I would like to request, I just think this needs to be a data-based decision, understanding the the dollars behind it, potential costs versus, obviously, I mean, it's a grant, right? Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get it.
Correct.
But I think it's worth understanding going sidewalks versus going after that grant. at least having some dollars behind it. It may be a no-brainer, or it may be where we have to make a tough decision.
And they'd be able to tell you what portion of that grant could go towards sidewalks. That's the other thing. And I think that's what you're asking as well.
Yeah, my concern, especially for the Highland Forest to Highland Shores, is there's no space. You're right next to that 407. We have a little bit more room when we move further west. We can go into the easement a little bit further, so it's a little bit easier. But if we can solve the problem of running the trail along the railroad back to the Briar Hill,
Right.
I think that would eliminate a lot of our hesitancy.
Well, and that's part of their responsibility, is to come up with that alignment that fits within a budget that the city could support.
Right, but part of their study is that, I mean, are we still in where are we at in this for them to say?
Well, I've stopped
We need
it.
to halt them in a no-go sidewalk versus trail. So where are we at in their whole $136,000?
Project.
Yes.
Right. So I've effectively stopped.
Is it an additional 136, or it's going to be 136 total?
136 total, and there may be some additional costs
Sure.
that you're wanting them to do, a delta between the trail and the sidewalk. And then if there's additional meetings now because of that, then those need to be funded. So I can come back and ask those questions and then come back to the board and say, okay, for the additional delta and for, the additional meetings that are going to need to take place in order, or the work, whatever that looks like, this is what it's going to cost over this.
But where are we at in this contract already?
Yeah, I don't have that number with me.
Okay, I'm with you. We kind of need to just put the brakes on, and they should, for not a lot of money, I say that, 'cause they should be able to at least do a rule of thumb or I mean,
Yeah, but-
I don't want to get too far into alignment studies and all that if we're going to go trail versus sidewalk.
Right.
We need to know before we move forward what we're talking about. Because if trails are, let's just make up a number. If the trail thing is $10 million and the grant covers half, and the sidewalk's $5 million with no grant, because grants they're harder to come by now, and we don't have, with that whole east side taken off the table for connectivity, none of that counts. All of it's gone because of the transportation code, so we need to know those.
So I just did a quick math here. We have basically 17 meetings left out of a total of, what is that? Or maybe I did my math wrong. Someone who's smarter than me can go through this probably better. But if I look at the amount of meetings left, we still have, a reasonable amount of meetings left to meet. And I can send an email letting you know where we are as far as the project, percentage-wise. Are we, 20%, 30%, 40% down the road, 50% down the road? The other thing is that because this is going to be a public works project, Scott is managing the contract and the agreement with this, so I can get that information to you probably pretty quickly.
And can we get the meeting notes from all the meetings that have happened to date?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So then, just so we know we have the history, we know the progression from A to B.
So Brian, I think your initial pause was, let's discuss trail versus sidewalk before we put any more money into this. That was your initial pause, right? Okay. Do you feel better?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's, beyond anything else, I think it's important for us as a body to look at every alternative before we expend a lot of money on any one project. Because we can get so blinded by one focus that we don't see something else coming or something else possible that we need. So I think this is a good time for us to look around us and see what options we have.
Yeah, it's a good provocation. Like,
Well, we've
that's
had a
what we're
lot of
supposed to do.
changes since the last meeting. We had an entire, with LASD shutting down Highland Village Elementary, that completely changes the dynamic on the east side and what credits we'll get.
Right, right. In conjunction with this trail and talking about the trails, the three projects that we had identified as priorities to us,
Was this,
When do we anticipate those starting? Because I think, if I remember correctly, we talked about those, we had the money for those. So there's not, I think what you said in the beginning of this presentation was your half would give us a total grant possibility. But if we incorporate those three in this, it gives us more points
Right.
for the accessibility of the grant, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's assume then for a minute that we decide we're just going to stick with a sidewalk. If we ever got to that point and said, nope, we're going to do sidewalks, then when would those other projects start? Because if I understand right, we don't want to start those projects, those three options, those three priorities, if we're going to pursue a grant, because there's a possibility of being funded in there.
Right.
So if we don't do it,
Right.
when would those start and how fast would they start? Or how fast would they be done?
Right. So I'd, get an opinion of probable cost from, one of our engineers, SPI, more than likely. They're the ones that, there were BW2 back in the day, Rhonda.
yeah, no, they have the historical knowledge of our city.
Yeah, and ask them for probable, or opinion of probable cost for engineering and then for construction. And then I can bring that, and a timeline. And of course, it's an estimate, so
Right.
it's,
Right, but those were three priorities that we had discussed a long time ago.
Right.
And now we're getting a lot of information on this 407 trail. I'd just like to know that where we're going with that. If we kind of keep that ball rolling, although it's going slowly because we're looking at this as a
Right.
combination.
because they're going to,
Yeah.
the money's going to come from the same buckets.
Right.
Run it, right now where we're at, if we take a pause, we can run it parallel.
Exactly.
Half can give us their part, I'm sure they'll ask for additional services, and then SPI can give us their part.
Yeah, okay. Right.
So Phil, your ask is a recommendation to proceed with half. Essentially, we're going to have to do that in order to get the information we're requesting.
Yeah, but you give me very specific direction, and you want to know what the trail versus the sidewalk is. That's what I heard. So I need to get a cost for half to see if there's going to be an additional cost, letting us know, once we approve an alignment, we need to understand what the alignment is first. I need to know that, so I can go to them and say, okay, the board understands the initiative with, moving forward with the trail, but they also want to know and understand what the cost is if they just made the connectivity for the sidewalks and what the difference is between those two. And then I think you're also wanting if there's any grant dollars available for the sidewalk, to ask them to look at that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's be a little bit more focused then on the sidewalk and the trail here, because you asked for an alignment. I think we've all in an agreement now on the alignment for the trail, either from Highland Village Road to Highland Forest. We want to go to the back along the railroad for the trail system there, and the possibility of running that all the way up to Briar Hill. And then the sidewalk connections moving west from Highland Forest to roughly the Walmart, and fill those pieces in on the sidewalk.
So take off the table Highland Forest to Highland Village along 407.
Push it to the back.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that alignment comes off the table when, you're right, from a safety perspective, the railroad's safer.
Yeah.
And would that include a crossing and/or possible connection with the other side of Highland Village Road? Because currently there wouldn't be one. You'd have access to get back out to 407, but you'd have to drive for where that's set up.
On the
You'd have to
railroad?
come,
You mean crossing the railroad?
yeah, or crossing the railroad, or crossing to the other side, or to the east side of Highland Village Road.
You could easily put a crossing outside the railroad right of way, because we know how much fun that is,
Well, they
we could
can-
easily have a crossing, and where they neck down and all, the people slow down anyway.
You can do that crossing at that cut
Yeah,
into that office building right
yeah.
Or we could, if, I don't know, even coming back this way, because I believe that still needs it, because you're still going through parking lots at that point. And then also going up and over the railroad tracks to where we have the future golf cart crossing as well.
Well, didn't we not talk about the trail going over that railroad anyway?
Yes.
And that was, they were going to bring the Highland Village Road reconstruction right up to the railroad, and then Scott was going to work with them to get
Right.
across the railroad.
Right, okay.
And regardless of that, they're just super fun to deal with, and if you pay them enough of their review fees, they seem to acquiesce.
Okay.
And then the linear footage of, and even maybe a 4% fluff on there in those spaces that we need to fill in from Highland Forest over to the Walmart as well. I know that'll come with the price or the suggested price, but I'd just like to know what that linear footage would be of additional sidewalk that we would need to add in order to make that connection.
Say that again, Kevin?
Linear footage, so how much, the length of the sidewalk that it would take in order for us to plug in each of these red areas without
Oh, the
sidewalk?
gaps. Yes, they're going to provide that in their opinion of probable costs.
So that would be, and so that'll be great, having that number.
Yeah.
Because that'll be easier to look at and give us even a kind of a base moving forward for anything else that we want to add as well.
Okay. So to recap, the trail section between Highland Village Road and Highland Forest Drive, you see that as being problematic. We all recognize that. And going with a connection that goes along the railroad from Highland Village Road into the back of Unity and connects with the existing trail there. Correct? Okay. And then from Highland Forest all the way to the connection at Walmart where it goes to an 8-foot trail to get a cost or to run congruent with the trail cost, what the sidewalk costs will be in lieu of a trail. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did I hit all of those?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll come back with what that quote looks like, because I'm not, along with a percentage of what's been complete to date.
Right.
And what the additional costs are.
Okay.
Is that what I'm being directed to do?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can totally
Okay,
tell
Phil,
when things are developed.
I just want
on the
clarity here.
sidewalk.
So the original ask was for a recommendation to proceed with half on the 136. Do you still need that to accomplish what we're asking?
No, we've changed direction.
Okay,
Yep.
got it. I thought you were going to tell me that, okay, we need to approve it so I can go get all the
Oh,
numbers
no, the
for you.
money's already been approved.
Or
The
I'm sorry, just
contract-
to recommend it. So-
Yeah, what I was asking for is no longer needed. I've been given a different direction, which
Got it.
I'll follow through on.
Now, that may come back depending on what he comes up with, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's just been pushed back a little bit.
We're asking for more information to make
Right.
that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and as you move forward with this, just be mindful that grants are on a timeline.
Well, yeah, but if we miss this one, we'll get
Go
in
to
the next cycle.
one.
I mean,
Right.
Yep.
we're not, I think if we methodically think this through, we're going to come out to the place where we need to be, but I don't want to be rushed because we have a clock.
Right.
It's
No.
our community, and grants will be there.
Yep, I agree. Okay. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate
bet.
it. All right, let's move on then to number 10, consider holding monthly meetings the first Tuesday of each month. Now, Phil and I had a conversation about putting meetings together. They've been sporadic over the years because honestly, we just haven't had any money to do anything. We've been waiting and building our fund up. So we're at a point now where we can start using the money. And Phil wants us to have a discussion on the best time to do meetings, do them regularly. So we need to have that discussion about our schedules and what days are best. And Phil and I started with a Tuesday.
I'd like to say Tuesdays are for school events, Tuesdays and Fridays. So I already miss two Tuesdays a month on school events
In evenings.
in the evenings. That's Tuesdays and Fridays are when school things usually happen. Don't touch Wednesdays because of church. Nobody does Mondays.
Do
So-
we need to look at a replacement for you? No.
Don't even. But I was thinking, and for those of us in council, what about doing the Thursday after the first council meeting of the month? Then it allows us to plan travel if we have to and whatever. But Thursdays don't seem to be full of a lot of stuff. And I don't know you other parents and all, but I'm already missing. We'll do what we
Well,
need to do, but that's
I'm
my concern.
I'm going to interrupt and say, I probably took a lot of Phil's time explaining, so I'm gonna let him, if he needs to fill in with anything else or update us with anything else, and then we can get somebody else's opinion too.
Yep. So just one thing to consider also when you go through this is that Mondays, we do have park board on Mondays.
Okay.
Nobody likes Mondays.
The third one, the third Monday, but, there's a lot of activity, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
I think, I could probably say the same thing about Thursdays, but, I'm willing to flex wherever.
And I think that's, Tuesdays, you're busy Thursdays, does Monday, even though people may not meet, we do get together as a park board on a Monday, on the third Monday of the month. And that is, you already do council on Tuesday for those of you that are on council, does it?
You mean do it the Monday before council? That would make sense because it keeps it in the same week. I would not, because if you do the first or second, how calendars write sometimes are 2 different weeks, but if we can do it to where it's the same week of council, that would be helpful.
That's, oops.
Monday?
Yeah.
Nobody does anything on Monday.
Matt?
That's fine with me. The ISD board has their meetings Mondays, I think, if I remember.
What days is it? Well, let's go after.
Can't remember.
Well, here, let me look it up.
And honestly, I don't go to those lately, but that's just on my mind because of
Nobody
the
wants to
closures.
see me at those meetings.
They don't want to see me at them either.
What meeting, what was, I didn't know.
Nobody
LISD
wants
board.
to see me at the
Oh, the board
LASD
meetings,
board
yeah.
meetings. They've made it very clear.
In regards to the Monday's fine.
Yeah.
I can be flexible on that. In regards to the frequency, once a month.
Once a month when we have items that need to be brought forth. So like November, I wouldn't schedule a meeting in November just because we're going to be on a trail tour and we're so close to the, I would recommend to the board not having a November meeting
Okay.
since we're on the trail tour, but we could look at December, and I work with the chair directly on that, and based off of, what you've given me here to do, that would probably be the information that I would provide in December.
Would you have it available by then?
I hope so. I'll ask half.
Because December's rough, unless it's
It
at the
is,
very
because you got a
front.
lot of holidays. It
You
would have
got-
to be the first Monday of the
Yeah,
month.
because that's rough. Once
Yep.
December 10th hits, everyone's checked out.
And we can look at January as well.
And if it gets to that point, in a way that we are waiting on information, then we'll have the meeting on the books, but we can always cancel the meeting.
Yes.
Right.
if there's not enough on the agenda.
Right.
Yes, we do that regularly with Park Board.
So we're talking the second Monday of the month? Is that correct?
The Monday before
Council.
council. So it's not always going to be the second Monday, but the Monday before the second
Well,
Tuesday.
the council meetings are always on the second Tuesday of the month.
Right, but how the calendar falls, the second Monday could be after.
You'd have to find the first.
That's true.
You'd have
Yeah.
to find Tuesday would have to be on the first, or I'm sorry, Monday would have to be on the first.
Yeah.
So it would be the second Monday
Of the month.
of the month.
Typically. But we can just go ahead and line out a calendar. Like
Or you could say that you would,
Monday before.
the Monday before city council.
city
Yeah,
council.
Monday
I think that's
before-
easy.
Yeah.
You are making it very
Yeah,
difficult.
that's what I say, the Monday before
That's what
the
Mondays are
city
for?
council meetings, the beginning of the month. I think that would be, and then it's the most efficient use of everybody's time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree then the Monday before the first council meeting every month, starting December with a possibility of a delay until January.
I would say, yeah, January is probably more, but
Well,
yeah.
if he has the,
Yeah,
if he
we'll
has
do
the
it.
information, let's just try to
day
do
is-
it. So
when is
because we've
December
got to,
1st?
we've got to proceed if we're going to go in that direction, so. let's set it for December.
And if your company's
And if you
cheap,
have it, great. If you don't, we can push it to January.
it would, it's literally December 1st.
There you go.
Literally December 1st, because council,
Now, the council meeting will be on the 9th, so
so
we'll
it'd
do
be
it on
the
the
8th.
8th.
So it'd be December 8th.
8th, correct.
So that gives an extra week for them if they get their stuff together, because everyone between Thanksgiving and New
Yeah,
Year's,
they won't be.
people are,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
you don't get anything done. But, so December 8th.
Confuse you?
December 8th.
Okay, December 8th.
December
And then
8th.
there's also with this, there are, just to let you know, there's things that I've signed up for in terms of conferences and things like that. So I'm going to try to just be mindful. I missed a park board meeting in September because I was at a national conference, and
Do you have a conflict on December 8th?
I'm going to go back and look. I don't think I do.
Well, I think everybody's going to be flexible with
Right.
December anyway, because we're
Right.
not sure if we can get the numbers we're looking for.
Yeah.
The other thing that we did, because of that, we held a special meeting after. So in other words, the regular meeting is scheduled, and there's a conflict. It can't happen. I can't be present. The chair's not present, the vice chair's not present, but we want the information. We can look at holding a special meeting to review the information later that month. That's an option as well, and I've done that in park board.
Right.
Just in December, it won't be realistic.
Right.
I'm just,
But I think we've got the biggest piece,
Yeah.
which is we need to get a schedule moving forward.
got it.
And we've got our dates. so
yep.
we're
I
good.
mean, I can give you December 8th, January 12th, and February 9th. Those would be the first three.
You can just get a couple cots for us, so we'll just sleep here and wait for the council meeting.
Right. Just pull up my laptop and I'll just work in my pajamas here during Tuesday.
Yeah, let's not
Make
go.
sure I put my business clothes
We'll
on
let you
before
go
the
home
meeting.
Monday. Okay. Anything else you need from us on that?
No, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
Phil. All right, number 11, status reports on current projects and discussion of future agenda items.
Yes,
Okay.
I have one that I just remembered.
Dun.
There is no school on Election Day on November 4th, so we will not be seeing kids get out of school that day.
Oh, that's right, because they're used as, you're right.
Do we want to move it? I mean, we don't have to force this either. That's the other thing, and we've kind of know that we're not going to be seeing this until January, possibly, the information from HAF.
So why don't we just move it to January?
The tour?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be cold in
It's
the
gonna-
golf cart.
The last time I did a tour, I was pregnant and it was 25 degrees and we made it through there.
And we don't want to have to put you through that again.
I'm not pregnant.
One thing to consider, we can order the golf carts with the,
Plastic.
skirting around it.
I'm just, if we're not pushing this and we're not going to see the kids, we should pick a time that we can see the kids. Because they're out, I think, part of November, they're out for the week. I mean,
And I understand the concerns. I would like to see us do this, if possible, in November, because weather, number one, but it gives us an opportunity to see what's on the ground, what we're looking at, and when the information comes back to us, we've got a full mental picture of what's going on, so.
well, what about November 10th? If we're going to stick with our meeting before council, what about Monday, November 10th?
Do it before the meeting?
Well, we might not have our November meeting will be our tour. Monday, so it'd be Monday, November 10th, because council's November 11th.
Okay.
How does that sound? Then we can watch the kids. That sounds, in a very holistic, want to see how the trails way, not in a creepy way. I just didn't come out right. But I think it would be good for us to kind of see them in their native habitat and how they do things,
And it still might-
especially the middle schoolers.
Well, and it still might be warm enough as more kids are probably walking before they start hibernating
Yeah.
to their parents' cars.
Right. But
I'm okay with that.
I'm more interested in the middle schoolers and the elementary kids.
Yeah.
Are you here?
Yes.
Yay! Look at that.
Okay, November 10th it is then.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take,
That's why you rock as chairman there,
I don't know
Brian.
about that, thank you, but
Good catch, Kevin.
Can you send us a calendar invite, please, for that? Thank you.
I mean, I'll give you a gold star.
I love that, thank you. What was the day we had it before?
November 4th.
I need to take it off of my calendar since I've already.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that right now. Well, I'm just going to, oh, it's my aunt's birthday that day, too.
Okay, and she'll send an invite so we can
Yeah.
put it on our calendars. Okay.
I'm sure Kristen will be happy about this day that we're locking in, right?
Who?
Kristen, wasn't she the one trying to coordinate all the meetings?
Yes, yeah, it's a lot easier now. Yeah, well,
Well,
of course, we haven't heard from Robert or Megan, but the majority.
But I think this gives us a good, and then it keeps it fresh, so when we get our stuff in, we can kind of, I'm really interested to see the middle school kids, though, because they're the ones that are scooching all over the place. And there's more of them coming this way
Right.
than that way.
Right. Okay. All right. Anyone else? All right. With that, then we'll close the meeting for the Highland Village Community Development Corporation at 7:48.